Hi there, this is Dragoing and welcome to a bit more cube action from this weekend. And now we actually have the feature match between Martin and Erik. And you can see here, this is Erik's hand as a spelled. Yeah, he has Re-animate. Re-animate is a great card. Re-animate. Which is one of the original really good Re-animator spells. 1 mana to reanimate. It's great stuff. And I think Martin is actually having to do some mulliganing here. So we drafted this old border cube this weekend. It resembles a bit from the old border cube from CubeCon, and I love playing in paper magic, and I love playing with old cards. So all of these cards are with a retro frame, and many of them are from before 2001 or something, where it's around 7th edition before that. So it's also a bit pre-modern feeling. So if you enjoy old cards, paper magic, hanging out, chilling, this is the right thing to do right now. I was also playing, of course, in this draft, and I was having success with my mono white, or actually multiple colors, but my white deck, which was really nice. But now we're watching Martin and Erik go at it, and I think Martin has a better hand this time around. Erik kept his hand with Re-animate. Martin's wondering what to do. What are we doing? He's keeping one, putting one back. What is he here? Fact or Fiction, Mrs. Bobble. Ooh, Fire Covenant. If you don't know this card, this is a really nice old school magic card. Printed in Ice Age originally. So 3 mana, and it deals X damage divided any way you choose among any number of target creatures, where X is the amount of life you pay. So you just pay X amount of life. So imagine your opponent has 3 creatures out with a total of 5 toughness. You just pay, 5 life, clear the board. Erik, I think he plays a land here. It's hard to see with the thing here. And Martin cracks a Mrs. Ball instantly. Getting to look at the top card, which is an island. We can see the island from the top. And now playing a Swamp in itself. And Erik is playing the mental note of the island he has. So he can actually now middle away his own island there, but also sort of a time spiral going into the graveyard. Time spiral is a great card. Mental note is a nice little draw spell, because you get to fill up your graveyard. Especially he's playing Re-animator, which is a nice old strategy. Funny, he's also playing with the time spiral. That one went to the grave though. Time spiral is great. The updated version to Time Twister, but you can actually get all your mana untapped for this one. You play 6 mana and then you get to get a new hand. Title in your hand, you get it's a draw 7. Oh, but Erik plays a Waterfront Bouncer. This was actually also in my original opening pack when I drafted, and Waterfront Bouncer goes to town. That's also a great way of discarding. So discarding the creatures, but you can see Erik has no creatures to discard, so he just attacks. But also I think you can discard a creature for the Re-animate strategy, and you get to bounce an opponent creature as well. So pretty valuable. And now look at this. Look at this. This is Sign of, what's it called? Sign of Darkness? Yeah, Sign of Darkness. Really OG Re-animator target. The cool thing about Sign of Darkness is you can cycle it yourself, so he didn't want to actually discard it to Waterfront Bouncer. There's no targets for the bounce, so you can just cycle it, draw a card, getting into the yard, and it's a 6/6 trample. And now he plays his Re-animate, getting back the Avatar of Woe. Does Martin have a counter spell? Doesn't seem like it, no. And the Avatar's Woe is strong. It's a 6/6 trample. It's not strong by modern standards, but it's strong by the old school standards. 6/6 trample, and when it provides damage for your to your opponent, you get to pick a card out of their graveyard and put it into play under your control. And now Martin seems to be stuck on lands, but he can play a Gruul Signet. But this might be too slow for Erik with his Sign of Darkness. So Erik draws for the turn. Look, he has an Underground Sea, which is one of my favorite old school duels. What a beautiful art. I love the way that they made this squares around it. So Erik goes into the attack with Waterfront Bouncer, giving a lot of damage to Martin, but Martin has no creatures in the yard. But now he plays as well. It's Diamond Lion, right? Diamond Lion. Yes. Diamond Lion is new to the cube. And it's a take on Lion's Eye Diamond. It's which is like the nerd version of Black Lotus. But yeah, Diamond Lion is pretty good because you get to, you know, in Erik's case, you know, you can get the creatures in the yard, you can discard your hand, but it's also good in a storm deck. And it's a 2/2 for 2, so you can also beat down. Martin has an option here. Fire Covenant seems a bit bad now, because it'll give him a lot of damage if he does that, but maybe he does. See here what he goes for. Maybe he goes for the Fire Covenant. He can actually clear the board with that 9 points of damage. Are you willing to do that, Martin? 9 points of damage. Yeah, he's going for the Fire Covenant. And now it comes into play. I think it might be actually the right strategy. Take a lot of damage. So Erik has to respond to it before he pays the mana. That's good. Right? It goes on the stack and then he has to respond. No, he has to choose any mana. I think he has to choose it right away. So he clears the board. 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage and goes to 2. Ouch. But look at that card. It's such a good card. Fire Covenant. Being on 2 is kind of scary though. I'm not gonna lie. Singy Outcrat instantly from Erik. And actually not the, you know, most scary play here. It's a good card because it allows you to get a 2/2 in play, and you get 3 0/1 black creatures that you can use to sack or sack to Recurring Nightmare to recover something from the yard and stuff like that. But it's a 2/2 and Martin is on 2, so it's decent, but Martin gets to path it. Path of Exile. And actually the drawback, the Path to Exile. Path to Exile. And the drawback from Singy Autocrat is that you actually you know, lose the creatures when he dies. So you need to get the value right away. You see the mid retro frame one, where is it? There. That's the one we got. We have to only have retro frames. So Path to Exile is a great removal spell. What does Martin do here? He got a Demonic Tutor in hand, it seems. Maybe a Karn. Karn could be a good play, but don't you think he has the mana for the Karn? Yeah, he... Ooh. No, he does not. I think that's actually where they made a short mistake here. Do they realize? 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Snuff out. You can't snuff out a Karn. Snuff out is this removal spell here. Oh, yeah, you can. It's non-black creature. What a great card. I thought Snuff Out was like Terra. But Martin couldn't play the card here. Do they notice? And then he plays Brood of Cockroaches. And Brood of Cockroaches is a really old card from Visions, never reprinted, but pretty good in the Re-animator shell. Or in the Sacrifice Outlet shell, because it's a 1/1 that if you go to the rear, you just pay a life and get back to your hand in a turn. Now Martin plays Sol Ring, one of the best cards in the cube, maybe the best card in the cube. And Sol Ring has been reprinted a lot of times. We gotta get the old version. 1 mana, you get Tarot for 2. What a card. Now Martin plays a Demonic Tutor, allowing him to find a card in his deck. What will he find here? He's in 2 HP and Erik is facing him down. Demonic Tutor. Also from way back in the days, this is actually a nice, I think it's you know, nice old school art again. Demonic Tutor. Martin plays, oh, Erik plays Corpse Dance. Great Re-animator spell. Allowing him to buy back and attack with Avatar Woe, and that should be enough. That should be enough. Martin, I think he only has 1 mana, and he's on 2. Yeah, so Corpse Dance does it. Corpse Dance does it. Okay, back and forth, but Erik managed to take it down. Fire Covenant was good to clear the board. We'll go for the sideboarding. This is what Erik takes in. Mutilate, recoil, yeah, a lot of removal spells. Maybe that's the card he's taking out. No, this card, yeah, he's taking the, you know, drain life in removal spell, and maybe just taking out Diamond Line, Intuition. He needs to find 4 cards. You can see that there was a value in removal spells. So we can remove the Karn. The Karn is a really good threat. We can go into Karn later. It's a great card. It's a 5 mana 4/4 that allows you to activate all your non-creature artifacts into being, you know, threats, because then they can now attack, and they have power on top equal to their life, their casting cost. What is he doing there? Sneezing on the mousepad? Okay, so shuffling up here. Thank God for we can actually do this. I think we're getting ready. Okay, 1-0 to Erik with the Corpse Dance. Corpse Dance is such a great animation spells. You know, allowing it, you can the weird thing about the Corpse Dance is that it's templated weird, because it says you take the top creature, and nowadays in rules it doesn't matter if it's the cards. You know, it should the order of your graveyard doesn't matter. It cannot matter. So the templating doesn't work for Modern Magic anymore, because you are actually allowed to rearrange your graveyard as you want. But back then you had to have it in right order, so you could just not just pick a creature up. So he had to have a good creature in the top, because that's too much complexity. If a Wrath comes in, you have to choose which cards on top of stuff like that. So it makes sense that they made it a bit different. I think Martin had to mulligan again, going with the dual land, the Rakdos dual land here right away. Also a dual land, it's Underground Sea again. What did Martin do for turn 2? I think he has Fire Covenant again. Maybe that's Terminate. He has Marsh Flats now. And I love that they reprinted Marsh Flats with retro border here in Modern Horizons, so I could get access in this cube for all 10 fetch lands. This allows for a much better mana base. And I really think that that was needed. The mana base was, especially on enemy colors, a lot worse originally. But now we got enemy color fixing and fetch lands. Martin can actually find another duel here, so great mana base. You can see here other duels. And Erik just passed the turn. Oh, now he drew. Look at what he drew here. A Mox Ruby. Power 9. He got it. I didn't even see that he drew that one. Such an amazing card, you know. Of course, it was totally overpowered, but originally when I saw it the first time, I was like, isn't that just like having a basic land? I don't like that card. That's boring. Never realizing that you can play it in the same turn you play a basic land. So allowing you to play this means that you can play a turn 2 play on 1 and a turn 3 play on second round. Okay, we're gonna fast forward a bit here. Martin is considering his lines. I don't think he played the land yet. No. So here comes the swamp. I think he's gonna hold on to the Mox. Oh, Undead Gladiator in the end step, cycling it. Undead Gladiator is also nice for the Re-animator decks here. So you can discard it from your hand for 2 mana. With cycling effect. You can cycle it, but you can also, when it's in your graveyard, you can also use in your upkeep, you can pay 2 mana and discard a card from your hand. So you get to also use it when it's in the graveyard. You cycle it to draw a card, and then you can, you know, use it from the graveyard to get back, you know, to discard a creature you can then reanimate. Erik chose not to go for that line. Maybe he doesn't have a reanimator, a creature to reanimate right now in his hand. One of the issues with reanimator in Old Border, and that's how it is, and how I'm gonna keep it, is that the ways to activate. Oh, Martin just paints an Ancient Tomb in Pass. Is great. Ancient Tomb is also a really good land. So you have enablers through the roof. You have, you know, Corpse Dance, Recurring Nightmare, Living Death, Re-animator, as we saw before. Many great Re-animator spells, and also discard outlets, Wheel of Fortune, stuff like that. But the payouts are not that good. The creatures are a lot lower power level than we see today. But I think that's part of the charm, right? So Erik plays a Mana Crypt. Wow, these guys drafted good decks. Wow. Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt is a really broken card. It's a 0 mana Soul Ring. So, what? 0 mana Soul Ring? Yeah, that's crazy strong. But you have to flip a coin in your upkeep. And if you lose the flip, you take 3 parts of damage. And then he plays Phyrexian Arena. Phyrexian Arena, also a pretty old card. You gotta get it from Apocalypse. Allowing him to draw an extra card each turn. And now I think he won the die roll on it. On the Mana Crypt. He tossed the dice. Mana Crypt was something of a promotional card for some sort of magazine back in 1993. So it was never really printed again. Until recently when they made reprints of it. But so it wasn't really, strictly legal, but they remade it a lot of times. But this is the original version. Harper Prism book promos. Yeah, it's a book promo card that's now worth $300. Okay, so Martin just passes the turn here. And he's just gonna gamble on winning from the Mana Crypt, I suspect. So Erik takes 1 point of damage for the friction reading, drawing an extra card, and drawing here. Oh, he didn't take the damage again. Wow, he's doing well. And now he can use Undead Gladiator in the upkeep. Look here, Undead Gladiator going on the stack now. It's pretty decent. So he gets to return that to his hand and discard something. An island, so he's really lacking the threats. He was moaning about that later when we drafted this. Okay, so 2 mana now. Mental Note. Looking for a threat, and there it comes. You can see Avatar, Sign of Darkness again, going into the yard. Does he have a way of reanimating it? He can potentially play Corpse Dance. He has Reanimate again. Now he can activate. It's take a lot of damage, but that's fine. 6 points of damage. What does Martin do? Martin has plays here in the end step. We saw the Fire Covenant before. Maybe he's going to use that to remove the Sign of Darkness in end step. And he also has a Regrowth, a way of buying back his cards from the yard. Oh, he has a Terminate. And Terminate is a great removal spell because it doesn't have that annoying drawback of not being able to kill black creatures. Which is one of the big problems for black in the old school. Terror effect was always like, you can't really, kill off black creatures. It's non-black, it's non-artifact. So black creatures in general are actually better in this cube because many of the removal spells cannot take out, but Terminate can. Terminate is a great card. And it was originally printed with old border. You can see here in Plane Shift. Martin plays Cruel Signet, which is a mana rock, and says go. Erik is gonna cycle Miscalculation. I love Miscalculation. It's a mana leak that you can cycle, basically. It's a bit worse than mana leak, but not much. But now you can see it doesn't really make that much sense here. Martin has plenty of mana. And Erik's gonna search for a solution, but taking the damage from the Sign of Darkness, taking damage from the Mana Crypt, I think leads Erik to being a bit under pressure here. He has to roll a die. 5. Oh, he took the damage. He's gonna take the damage from Arena as well. So this is the drawback of Mana Crypt. If you're going into these stalemates, it can actually cost you a lot. And for this cube, because the black deck are really hungry for life, because you are, continuously drawing cards for Phyrexian Arena. There's even Necropotence in the cube, Yawgmoth Bargain, stuff like that. Therefore, there's also actually a lot of life gain you can get access to. Erik doesn't have life gain right now, so he could easily bleed out. But Mana Crypt is crazy. So he plays here a Talisman. So that's also a Mana Rock, that's not that exciting here. Polluted Delta, so he's really looking for something to do here. And he plays now Scion of Darkness. No, what is it called? What's it one called? Hang on. We need to make sure we find the right card. It's the Visara the Dreadful. Sound the Dreadful from Onslaught. It's a 5/5 flyer, but you can tap it to destroy target creature. That's not that relevant here. Good card, but again, you know, not a threat that's going in and winning you the game. At the spot here, it's not like playing a you know, Emrakul or something like that. And Martin plays his Fire Covenant. Look at Fire Covenant doing work. Just a great removal spell for Martin again. Martin plays a Regrowth for the Terminate. So he has another, you know, activity he can do. Martin also has good removal in his deck against Erik here, and Erik is slowly bleeding out from the Mana Crypt. So Martin just needs to let the Mana Crypt hit, and it actually turned out wrong here. He's taking damage, and now he's going to be dead next turn from bleeding out. Pre-rain, pretty good. Oh, it's Ponder, it's Ponder. Nice with Ponder in Old Border. I love it. I love that we got an Old Border Ponder. I love Ponder, it's just a great 1 mana card here. What can you do, Erik? What can you do? It looks grim now. He's on 2 HP. Drain life. Ooh, look at this. Good sideboard tech. Another way of getting back your life is drain life, of course. Drain life. You pay 1 black and 1 for the sorcery, and then you play only black mana, and you can draw as you can get as many life. Then you have to use only black mana, but you can damage your opponent and you get as much life as you paid black mana. So Erik is getting a bit of life here, but not that much. Only 4 points of life, it seems, because he cannot use the islands and he doesn't have that much mana. So he only gets to, you know, use the 4 black mana we see here. And here comes Karn. Karn is was a saga originally, and this is a house in this cube. And look at Martin, he has only one mana rock here. He can't do it on Mox, of course. That's gonna die instantly because it has 0 mana cost. But you can do it on the Gruul Signet, activating and then making it into a 2/2. And Erik is on 5, so now the damage is going to be pressured. Unfortunately for Martin, there's the recoil. Recoil is a great way of bouncing the Karn back on top. No, yeah, it goes to the hand actually. It goes to the hand, and then the player discards a card from his or her hand. So, if you have no cards in hand, this is just gonna kill the creature straight off. And it's permanent, you can choose everything. I don't know exactly what happened, since Karn is still there. Let's see. Erik tapping mana. Ooh, what is he doing? What is he gonna do? The big graveyard now. Corpse Dance on Viscera. That's a great line. So Corpse Dance on the Viscera. Again, you know, You can buy this back, and now he can use his Sarah to kill off the Karn. What a great line. I love seeing Corpse Dance performing like this. It's such a strong card. Because afterwards you have to exile the creature. But he has a Time Warp as well. Wow, Erik is picking up good cards here. Time Warp is a way of getting an extra turn. This is a clutch match, and now we can't see the life anymore because these guys are so excited that I think the life life counter is moving up. Let's see what it was before it moved up. We are on 33. He's on 4. On 4 HP. Here goes the Time Warp. Untapping. Drawing the extra card. So he's gonna go down to 3, I think. He's gonna be really low now. If Martin Regrowth is a Covenant, he might. I think Fire Covenant is only 2 creatures. I was like, can't Fire Covenant do that? But it's only for creatures, Fire Covenant, so he couldn't have Regrowth that one. So Terminator was a better choice. So Erik really needs to do something here. He's gonna use Probe. Probe is a great card. Only in Fun Invasions is interesting, but you pay 3 mana, so you get to draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards from your hand. That's good in the Re-animator shell, but you can also kick it for 2 mana, 1 black and 1. And if you pay the kick cost, target player discards 2 cards from his or her hand. And Martin only has 2 cards. Look at that, he's even discarding the Garth. And the Silvers. So big threats for Martin getting in the bin here. And Erik gets to discard the Rhea Dawnbringer. I'm interested to see if he can reanimate this card, because this is a bomb if you've ever seen one. Yeah, so he's... Now they're gonna reset the life so we can see it. But he's gonna use Corpse Dance and attack with Rhea Dawnbringer to bring Martin down 4. Now Rhea Dawnbringer goes away. Instant reading Corpse Dance is actually an instant, which is cool. So I think you actually would be able to do Rhea Dawnbringer in Martin's at the beginning of your. I don't think there's a time slot for maybe getting that in, but that could be a line. Okay, how many cards you have left? You guys. This is a drawn out interesting match. And the Mana Crypt continues doing damage to him. He's on 2 now, Erik. The Friction Arena and Mana Crypt. He's gonna die for this. Now you're wounded again. But we know he's on 2. So the life total is okay. We don't have to see that. That's fine. Okay, let's see, guys, what we're gonna do. Erik plays Mindless Automaton. This is Erik's pet card in this cube. He always drafts this card. Mindless Automaton is right there. And it's really tinkly card because you get a 2/2, but then you can pay 1 and choose and discard a card, and then you get a counter, but you can also remove 2 counters to draw a card. So you sit and tinker around. Erik loves this kind of thing. Big brain plays with Mindless Automaton, but it's good in the Re-animator shell. You get to discard relatively easy. So you can see you can pay 5 mana and then you get a discard. Now he's gonna Corpse Dance the Undead Gladiator, doing some damage. Yeah, you can see you have to take the top one. That's part of the Corpse Dance. effect. Can't believe that Erik isn't dead yet. He's probably really hitting the mana crypt. Or is the mana crypt gone for some reason? Okay. He's gonna attack with Sound Gladiator and playing the Waterfront Bouncer again. Okay, Martin, what do you got? Wheel of Fortune. That's why I looked at Erik's deck. There's almost no cards in here. Wheel of Fortune, everybody discards their card. Hand. This is just an insane card again. But Wheel of Fortune, everybody has to discard. So Erik says, GG bro, thank you for the game. And I think we have a winner in Martin here. I think we have a winner. Okay, so final game here. Martin and Erik split 1-1. And look, Martin look at his hand. I had to jump ahead. I think there was a bit shuffling and maybe even hitting each other over the table. Erik starts with a turn 1 Ponder from the Underground Sea. That looks beautiful. Underground Sea, again, one of my favorite. I love this card. So pretty, so efficient. And then the Old Water Ponder, allowing him to look at top 3 cards here, seeing what he gonna do. And now Martin goes again with the Terminating hand, Demonic Tutor, and he can play a Marsh Flats. So a way to fetch our land. He's gonna do that instantaneously. What is he gonna find? Is that the Plateau Bio maybe? Bio for the green splash. Bio for the green and black. Martin played a lot of colors. So Erik plays a swamp and says go. Martin untaps. He has regrowth for the Marsh Blast. That would be insane. Probably not the line. He has a plateau, which is red and white, so he has 4 colors, access to 4 colors now. Is he just playing a 5-color value deck? So nice, Martin. I love it. Okay, what he's gonna do now? Demonic Tutor. But Erik instantly replies with a miscalculation. Good play here. And we can see the miscalculation coming in action. Demonic Tutor allow Martin to find a card, but no bueno. Erik miscalculation into Phyrexian Arena. We saw that card before, but just being able to, with the Phyrexian Arena now, get a solid start with a lot of drawing power. Martin draws a Mox Ruby, it seems. This will also skip him ahead. And he can play the Mox and an island. Look at that. So going from 2 lands into 4 lands in the same turn. He's actually considering what to do here. Swamp instead. And now maybe he's gonna go for the regrowth. Yes, onto the Demonic Tutor. So regrowth is an interesting card. I think probably everybody know about regrowth, been reprinted a million times. But it's just a good card, right? You have one. There's so many good cards in this cube. So for 1 green and 1, you can just rebuy one of the best cards. It's a good value card. You should just always play this if you have it. You can just sit on hand and wait for something from your yard, making sense. Martin is wondering what to get here. I think he has a lot of mana. Look, he has what's he gonna get? Ooh, nah, he can't get Oath of Druids. Oath of Druids is I think Martin has an interesting way of cheating out threats. And Oath of Druids is definitely a thing. I don't know what he took. It's gonna be interesting to see. But Erik is gonna play his turn now. And he goes, of course, down on life. We can unfortunately see what life total they're on, but that's fine. They are right now. I think Erik should be on a 19. He's taking 1 point of damage from the Phyrexian Arena. And now he's going to play Recurring Nightmare. One of the best cards ever printed, I would say. Recurring Nightmare. This is the best ETB, Re-animator effect there is. You have to sacrifice a creature. But when you do, you get to put a creature back. And then you can just replay it all over the time. This is such a great effect. Such a great card. So Martin's wondering here. This is where, Martin, you should be playing some enchantment removals. Look at Erik's card advantage. This is a good card. Look, this is so good, this card. Erik has no creatures in the yard, so he has the enabler for the Re-animator, but he needs to get a threat in the yard. Martin's going to play Pernicious Deed, and this is actually a good solution because this allows him to sacrifice for 3 mana. He gets to remove all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments with a converted mass 3 or less, but he has to pay the 3 mana, and he only has access to 2 mana right now, so he can't do it at this moment. And that's why Erik gets to Entomb here, finding the there it is again. It was the Visara the Dreadful, putting that into the art. Entomb is also a classic card, but I actually like the new art. I just got it from Dominaria Remastered with the new art. And you just pick a card, put it into your yard, and he picks Visara, drawing a card. And now you better get that Recurrent Nightmare out of harm's way. As soon as Erik can get to use the Recurrent Nightmare, it goes to his hand where it's protected from the Pernicious Deed. Okay, so do you have something? He doesn't, so it just passes a turn. Ooh, now Pernicious Deed can do some serious harm. What will Martin do here? He's probably gonna crack with Pernicious Deed, but when he does, his Mox is also gonna die. Yeah, so he should use the Mox for the Pernicious Deed activation. Oh my. That's rough for Erik. He needed a small creature, and he didn't have one. Martin plays a Basalt Monolith, which is a it's just a simple card, 3 mana, and you can get 3 mana for it as well. Erik just passed a turn back. Doesn't look good here. He needed that small creature for the Visara, but he didn't get it. That was unfortunate. Now Martin gets to play Talisman. And then go. It's not looking good for Erik here. He's just gonna pass back. He needed the small creature that round. And now Martin can apply the Avatar of Woe, which is similar to Visara. Avatar of Woe. The difference is it has 6 power, and it has the version of Fear. I think it's called Fear now. So it's a big threat for Erik, staring into that one. Also, you can just destroy target creature tapping it. Okay. Erik has a Drain Life in his hand, and he can produce 5 mana, so maybe he can Drain Life the Avatar here. He needs only black mana. No, he can't. He doesn't have enough. But now, look at that. He can use the Corpse Dance. Again, Corpse Dance coming in clutch. And killing off Corpse Dance coming in. Using it with buyback so you get it back to your hand. And taking the Sarah. Destroy target creature. And Martin can, and then he destroys the Avatar of Woe. But Erik is back down now. No creatures in the graveyard. The problem with Corpse Dance is that if you don't have a sack outlet, the creature just goes back. But actually, if you do have something like Altar of Dementia or else something where you can sack it, It's really, really good, because then you can get to sack the creature and use it again and again and again. For many of the old school versions of Corpse Dance decks actually use bottle gnomes, because bottle gnomes could sack it to itself. Now, this is not an impressive card, but it was actually pretty good back in the days. And it's been part of the cube, but people don't draft it. I love it. Look at the art, it's so amazing. But a 3-mana 1/3 that you can sacrifice to gain 3 lives. But you can continuously gain 3 life from that one. Maybe you should get back, because Erik really needed the life before, right? Corpse Dancing Bottle Gnome sacking it. Yeah, why not? It's a Corpse Dance combo. I'm gonna speed it up again here. Erik passes the turn. Martin has the Wheel of Fortune in hand. Now he's considering if he should untap the Basalt Monolith. Okay, Erik is gonna cycle the Undead Gladiator again. Martin untaps the Monolith. It's Chromatic Star. And they did a reprint here. This one, which is the one Martin has in play, with Retro Frame. And now he plays the Wheel of Fortune to get everybody to get a new hand. And he's gonna float the mana from Basalt Monolith. Everybody discard. This is a brave play from Martin. But of course he's not putting any pressure on Erik, so makes a lot of sense. So these guys get to get 7 new cards. Wheel of Fortune. So Martin got Sol Ring, Karn, Stroke of Genius. Ooh, this could be interesting. Stroke of Genius is a good card. And one reason why it's good is that it's target player. So sometimes you can actually kill off the opponent if you just use it for a lot on his. And look at Martin, got Basalt Monolith, he got Sol Ring, he got a lot of mana. So maybe he could even win by using Stroke of Genius on Erik to take him out here. So he's gonna fill up here. He's gonna play the Karn as well. The Karn is back. What does he have here? The Basalt Monolith is pretty good, because that's a 3-mana thing. He can't untap. Erik uses Mental Note. What are you going to do, Erik? You're under pressure now. And the man you're facing has a Stroke of Genius in hand as well. That can produce a lot of mana in a couple of turns. And now you're also getting beaten down. But Basalt Monolith and... ooh, he's going to reanimate. And you can actually choose something in your opponent's graveyard. What did he have? Avatar of Woe. Yeah, so he's going to take up the Avatar of Woe from the Re-animator. Taking the damage. And playing Sengi Autocrat, producing these small ones again. So 3/0/0s. Those are pretty good at blocking Martin's strategy. And he has a Water from Bouncer as well. Okay, Erik, you know, he got some action. He got some action. Now Martin should maybe consider going to the Stroke of Genius plane. And Water from Bouncer also allows him to you know, get the card back to hand. Basalt Bundle does not untap yet. Maybe we need Fast Bond in the cube. Look how good Fast Bond would be for Martin here. He can make Erik draw 7 cards. You can also untap Beside Monolith, and then it's 10 cards next turn. Actually 11 cards, because you can also play a land next turn. So you can actually get him to draw 11 cards next turn with his Stroke of Genius. Erik, I think, used this miscalculation already. Ooh, Static Orb. That's an interesting line. Players cannot untap more than 2 permanents during their untap phases. So this is a bane to Erik's mana, but also to Martin's. Okay, now the board is getting stalled out a bit. Epitaph Woe can now kill off the Karn. It's a good card. Oh, he's gonna snuff out. Why? How did the one die? What happened there? Snuff out? Taking 4 points of damage? Did he untap the Epitaph Woe? He did untap the Epitaph Woe. Okay. Epitaph Woe. Snuff out. Snuff out is free if you have a swamp and 4 life. And he pays the 4 life. So Martin activates the Static Orb. That's actually kind of complex. I don't know what they were doing. Guys, if you see this, tell me what was going on there. You activated the Static Orb. But how did you kill it yourself, Martin? If you did. Okay. So now Martin got to play. He just untapped the Basalt Monolith, and look at how few cards Erik has in this. Now I can use the Stroke of Genius to win the game. Go for it, go for it, go for it, Stroke of Genius. Look at that, boom. Good game, good game. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay. I don't know why it's blurry now. Maybe it cannot handle the stress. This is my hand. Okay, but while I'm blurry, I'll say thank you for watching. I'm blurry! That was fun. Old Body Cube. See you next time.